Solo board gaming night here, and today we're going to continue our playthrough of Too Many Bones Undertow. We have Stanza and Duster going up against Barnacle. We have 8 days to take him down, and so far we have just gained our second progress point. We are heading to day 3, so I'm going to go ahead and tick that day counter up to day 3. We're going to draw our next encounter card, and let's see what this day has in store for us. Our day 3 encounter reveals the Stretched Goat. We've come across a timid treasure-munching geophage, a truly rare sight to behold. This one is vulnerable, pulled in every direction by a mess of giant swamp root. Who knows what kind of loot it may have stored away in one of its 5 stomachs. We'll risk getting caught ourselves if we try to retrieve it, not to mention the possibility of this goat-like creature taking a bite out of our raft. Poor guy. Let's just free him and let him go. He's not hurting anything, someone begs. A fair point, especially with enemies approaching from the woods. We're going to go ahead and flip it over. This one is going to be a battle. We're not going to get anything for defeating it, but it does take place on the raft, and I'll change that in a minute just so you see what that looks like. We're going to create our baddie queue. And since it's day 3 and we're playing with 2 gear locks, it's 2 times 3, so it's going to be a total of 6 points. We already know what that's going to be because we had scouted it previously. However, there's going to be something that's going to be done differently here. We're going to have to place a timid geophage on this spot right here. Okay, because it's the Krellin starting position number 3, and we're gonna have to place 2 obstacles. So our geophage goat's gonna go here, and 2 obstacles right here. Okay, the obstacles are gonna have HP equal to the party size, so each obstacle is gonna have 2 HP, and down here it's gonna say defeat both obstacles before the end of round 1 to save the timid geophage. Remove it from play. Its skills do not trigger. It cannot be displaced using skills. If timid geophage is saved, persistent. Gain the Good Shepherd title among the herds of Daylor. When facing a future timid geophage, it will not flee. Encounter success is achieved if all baddies are defeated. So I'm going to go ahead and set this battle mat over to the raft so you can see what that looks like. I went ahead and I flipped our battle mat over to the raft side, and searching in the 1-player baddie, I ended up finding the timid geophage. Now once I got him, I had to mix the 1-point baddie, I had to shuffle it again, the 1-point stack. I'm going to let you know quickly what the meaning of their keywords here means. Treasure means that when this unit is defeated, you get to place a treasure die, which is this, on the spot where it's defeated, and then the gear lock adjacent to it can pick it up for 1 dex. And then they get to roll that die, and depending what they roll, they get. The second thing we have to look at is flee. Now what happens with flee is that this unit is either on the 2nd and the 5th round is removed. If you don't defeat it, so like if it comes out in the 3rd round, you have until the 5th round to defeat it. If it comes out in the 1st or 2nd round, you have until the end of the 2nd round to defeat it. If you don't do it, any gear lock next to it, the closest gear lock next to it, will lose one of its treasures, and this will just be placed in the discard pile. But right now, as per our card states here, it wants us to place this geophage without a lane marker on the Krellin starting area 3. It also wants us to place 2 obstacles. Each obstacle is going to have 2 points of health because it says the obstacle is going to have HP equal to the party size, and that's 2. And we're going to put an obstacle both in lane 1, and we're going to put the other obstacle in lane 5 of the Krellin starting point. Another thing we want to look at is we have 1 round to save this timid geophage. If we don't save it by the end of the 1st round, we remove it from play. Its skills do not trigger, those skills that I had mentioned over here earlier. Okay? If timid geophage is safe, like I mentioned earlier, we will receive the title of Good Shepherd. And the next time one of those timid geophages ever come out in this game, it will not be able to flee on the second and fifth round. So that's going to be our reward for saving him. Filling up our baddie queue, we know that we have 6 points we have to fill. So we need a 5 point and a 1 point. Now the highest point baddie always goes on top. And we're going to go ahead and set it up. Now, we had scouted before, but I'm going to just give you a quick reminder what compound means, depending which round it is. It's going to determine how many die it rolls on its attack. Careless means if this Dragon Breacher ends up rolling a bone, it's going to give itself 2 points of damage. This Dragon Breacher is going to start with 6 health. It's going to go on lane marker 1 with 6 health. It has an initiative of 5. So let's move this to 5 and place it on our initiative meter. And it is a ranged baddie. So this baddie is actually going to go on lane 1 in the ranged area, which is right here. Okay, now we're going to grab the second baddie. And we have the Chimp Acrobat. We had talked about Blind Strike, and just a quick refresher, at the start of its turn, this unit's going to be able to deal 1 damage to the strongest adjacent unit, and that could be friend or foe, baddie or gearlock. The thing that has me a little bit worried is this dodge, but I think we can handle it because the dodge, we're not going to be able to reduce any of his HP with attack dice. We're going to have to use skill dice to be able to do it, or some other way to be able to lower his defense. He starts with 2 HP. We're going to give him the second lane marker with 2 HP. He is a melee fighter, so we're going to look at lane 2. Put him in the melee area. Okay. We're also going to get its initiative die, and it has an initiative of 4. So let's go ahead and put it before the Dragon Breacher, because 4 is lower than 5. And let's go ahead and roll our initiative for our Gearlocks to see where they're going to be placed. Let's go ahead and roll Stanza and Duster's initiative die to see where they're going to be placed. Okay. Duster is going to be 5. Stanza is going to be 4. I want to go ahead and let Duster go in front of our Dragon Breacher. And I'm going to put Stanza in front of our Chimp Acrobat. Let's get our character Gearlock chips and see where we're going to place them on the map. We know that Stanza always starts with her Leotard die, so let's roll and see how much focus she gets in the start of the battle. She's going to get a focus of 3. We're going to go ahead and place that in her prep area. Go ahead and take her Gearlock chip and HP. We're going to grab Duster's character and chips. We're going to leave Nightshade right there for now because Duster's at full health. I know that I want to save this timid geophage, so I want to place Stanza right here in this Gearlock starting position. And I want to place Duster right here. Hopefully they could work together and get whatever needs to get done quickly before the end of round 1. We're going to go ahead and start with Duster. She's up first. Duster didn't use any movement, so she's going to have a total of 5 dexterity. I'm going to go ahead and roll 2 attack die, 2 defense die, and I actually want to also roll her throwing knives. Duster's throwing knives allows me to target 1 non-adjacent baddie and deal however much damage I end up rolling. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll my 5 dice. Ooh, perfect. I have 2 damage with my daggers. I have 2 damage with regular attack. I have 1 shield and 1 bone. I'm gonna go ahead and place that shield in her active and place her bone in her backup plan. You have to always remember to call out your target. In this case, my target was the obstacle and the chimp acrobat. So remember to call your targets before you roll. I'll do that next time. With the 2 attack damage, I'm going to go ahead and destroy this first obstacle. With the daggers, I'm going to go ahead and take 2 HP from our chimp acrobat, taking him out. Since I used the throwing knives, it's going to go ahead and get exhausted. The initiative die of the chimp acrobat gets removed as well. And now it's going to be the Dragon Breacher's turn. The Dragon Breacher is going to roll 1 attack die against Stanza. Here's the Dragon Breacher's roll. He rolled a bone. The Dragon Breacher rolled a bone. If we look, he has Careless 2, which gives himself 2 true damage because he was careless. And now we're going to go ahead and it is going to be Stanza's turn. Stanza has 4 dexterity. I'm going to go ahead and roll both of my attack dice. I'm going to roll my defense. That's 3. And I'm actually going to start playing a song. I'm going to play Forever Mine. I'm going to put that on the active slot. And that takes a dexterity. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Stanza rolls. She rolled 2 attack, 1 defense. I'll slot that defense on her active slot. I'm not used to recording this while I'm playing, so I always forget to call out my target. It was obvious that I was going for the obstacle. So for those 2 attack dice, I will go ahead and take the 2 HP from the obstacle and remove it. I was successful in saving this timid geophage before the end of round 1. With that marks the end of round 1. So we're going to take this up to round 2. And once again, it's Duster's turn. Now I know that Duster has 5 dexterity points, but I'm going to need to move 3 spots. So I'm only going to be able to use 2 dexterity points right now. With that, I'm going to go ahead and roll her dagger as well as 1 attack die. Before I roll my dice, I'm going to go ahead and move her the 3 spots. Now let's roll. This time I'm not going to forget to call my target, the Dragon Breacher. And here I go rolling against the Dragon Breacher. Okay, I got a bleed 2 and 1 attack. Our Dragon Breacher is having a really, really bad day. He ended up getting hit for 3. So I'm going to go ahead and take 3 HP out, leaving him with just 1 more HP. However, Duster inflicted bleed on him, which is going to put a bleed effect die on our Dragon Breacher. He's going to die before his next turn. However, going back to this Dragon Breacher, in his previous turn, he attacks 3 different gear lock. And I forgot to have him attack Duster. So since he is ranged, I'm going to go ahead and just... I know he's going to die in the next turn. But let's be fair and pretend that he rolled his die in that previous round to see if he would have ended up hitting Duster. Let's find out. So he's going to roll his forgotten attack. He ended up hitting Duster for 1. Before I do that, let me just exhaust the bleed die. Since the Breacher Dragon hit Duster for 1, I'm going to go ahead and remove 1 HP. The reason that I did that was because that will determine which option I choose at the end of the day. And I wanted it to be fair because it ends up being more fun for me when I do it the right way. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and it is now the Dragon Breacher's turn. However, his the bleed effect that Duster placed on him is going to go ahead and take him out for that last HP. And Stanza and Duster were once again successful in day 2. They both saved the timid geophage, and they also defeated all the baddies. So let's go ahead and look at our rewards here. First of all, we're going to be called the Good Shepherd from now on. That's the title we receive. So the next time we ever face a timid geophage, it will not flee because we were successful in saving it. And it's going to be thankful for us in the future. We're both going to each receive 1 loot and 1 training progress, as well as 1 day progress. All right, so Stanza is going to receive a loot card. She received the plated skull. It's going to have 3 uses, which is kind of a lot. At the start of round, you may place 1 defense die in an active slot. That's actually pretty awesome. So that's that. She's also going to get herself 1 training point. Now, I want this song only time will tell, but I also want to get a little bit more dexterity, which is going to allow me to be able to play more songs. So let's just go ahead and increase her dexterity for now. I always get ahead of myself, and I should always remember to remove any dice, give the initiative die back to the gear locks that it belongs to. Also put the gear lock and their remaining health points back on the respective mats as well. We should always do that before we start the reward phase. First and foremost, I'm going to remove any shield I have on the active slot, as well as any bones that I have locked in my backup plan. I'm also going to unexhaust any skill die that I used. And now I'm going to go ahead and draw that loot card. And it's a programmable defibrillator, single use during battle. Use on another KO'd gear lock to revive them with 3 HP, or if you are KO'd, revive with 2 HP. Permanently reduces revived gear lock's health stat by 1. No way. I don't like that. Follow KO rules before reviving. Revived gear lock rejoins the battle after end of round at the top of initiative meter. Most likely, I don't know. I don't like that one that much. But for my training point, I will go ahead and increase my health, because Duster's a glass cannon and she could be taken out very easily. So I need to make sure that she's going to be able to survive long enough to be effective. Let's move ahead and let's unexhaust all of Stanza's die as well. Let's go ahead and take out that shield, and let's go ahead and put the song Forever Mine back, as well as her Leotard die. We also received a progress point, so I'm going to go ahead and add that progress point to our map right now. Alright, it's end of day. I don't want to trade any loot. I don't have anything to lockpick, so since I am at full health and my individual options are to rest and recover at full HP, I don't need to do that with her. So I can either search for better loot, but I like the loot that I have right now. I'm going to go ahead and scout the area. So let's go ahead and roll that D6 and see what we're able to scout. And Stanza will be able to scout a 1-point baddie. So let's go ahead to the 1-point baddie stack and flip it over. We have a Minkin Monkey. It has a health of 3 with an initiative of 4. It is a ranged baddie. It rolls 1 attack die. It rolls 1 defense. Now, the thing here is that it is untargetable. So what that means is that, oh, by the way, it'll target the weakest gear lock whenever it's going to target one. Untargetable, if it rolls a bone, what's going to happen is that you get to place an untargetable effect die on it. And in the start of the next turn, it can't be, until the start of the next turn, it won't be able to be targeted. So you won't be able to hit it, basically, until its next turn, when it will go away. And hopefully, it won't roll another bone. So that's the Minkin Monkey. It's not too bad, and I think I can handle it. So let's go ahead and put that in the front of our 1 point stack. Now with Duster's end of day, I'm also not going to trade any loot. I don't have a trove loot to end up trying to lockpick. So my individual option I'm going to choose is actually to go back up to full HP, because if you remember, I had forgotten to roll that one move and now I have 4 health, but my total health is 5, and I'm going to go ahead and just heal. That marks the end of day 3 and this video. Join me next time when we continue our adventure trying to put a stop to Barnacle. This was Solo Board Gaming Night. Thanks for joining, and I hope you guys have a great game night.